Once upon a time, in a quiet village called Umuwaka, there lived a young man named Obinna. Obinna was the kind of man people noticed when he walked past. He was tall, strong and handsome, with the kind of face that made village girls slow down near his father's farm, just to greet him twice. But Obinna was not only known for his looks, he was also known for his pride. He worked hard on the farm every morning. He could carry heavy bags of cassava without bending. He could clear a bush path faster than most men his age. But in his heart, Obinna believed he was made for more than village life. "I will not die here like this," he often told his friend Chidi. "One day, I will leave this village. I will marry a rich woman from the city. I will wear fine clothes. I will drive a car that makes dust run away before it touches me." Chidi always laughed when he said that. "So farming is now a curse?" Chidi asked one morning as they walked beside the road with hoes on their shoulders. Obinna looked at the red soil on his feet and shook his head. "Farming is not a curse," he said, "but poverty is not a blessing either. Look at me, Chidi. Do I look like a man that should be begging rain to fall before he can eat?" Chidi smiled and tapped him on the shoulder. "My friend, your problem is not poverty. Your problem is that your eyes are too high." Obinna stopped walking and pointed toward the big houses on the other side of the village. "Those people there, are they better than me? Chief Dyke's sons went to school abroad. They drive cars, they wear white shoes even in dry season. But me, I must be here cutting weeds like a goat." Chidi's smile faded a little. "Obinna, your father tried his best." "I know," Obinna said quickly. "I respect him, but I don't want his life. I don't want to grow old with debts, cracked hands, and stories of how things were better before." He said it with such strength that Chidi did not argue again. That same afternoon, Obinna returned home tired and dusty. The sun was still hot, and the compound looked dry. His mother, Mama Obinna, was sitting near the kitchen removing stones from beans. She looked worried, but Obinna did not notice at first. "Mama, is there food?" he asked, dropping his hoe beside the wall. Mama Obinna looked up slowly. "Your father has been waiting for you." Obinna frowned. "Waiting for me? Why?" She did not answer. She only looked toward the small sitting room. That was when Obinna felt something was wrong. His father, Papa Obinna, was not the kind of man who waited for people in silence. He was usually outside, fixing a tool, feeding goats, or walking around the farm, even when his knees hurt. But that day, he sat inside with his hands joined together and his eyes on the floor. Obinna entered and stood by the door. "Papa, Mama said you were waiting for me." Papa Obinna looked up. His face looked older than it had looked that morning. "Sit down, my son." Obinna did not sit. "Papa, what happened?" His father breathed in deeply. "Chief Dyke came here today." Obinna's face changed at once. Chief Dyke was not a man people liked to hear about in their homes. He was rich, loud, and powerful. He owned many farms, many shops, and many people's peace of mind. When he gave money, he smiled. When he came to collect it, he came like thunder. Obinna stepped fully into the room. "Why did he come here?" Papa Obinna rubbed his forehead. "Because of the money I borrowed." Obinna stared at him. "What money?" His father looked away. "The money I borrowed years ago, when the farm failed and your mother was sick." Obinna turned to his mother, who had now come to stand near the door. Mama Obinna's eyes were wet. "Your father did it to save us." Obinna turned back to his father. "How much, Papa?" Obinna did not answer quickly. "How much, Papa?" His father swallowed. "The money has grown." Obinna's voice became sharper. "How much, Papa?" Obinna finally said the amount. The room became quiet. Obinna laughed once, but it was not a happy laugh. "No," he said. "No, Papa, that cannot be true." "It is true. That amount can buy half this village." "I know." Obinna put both hands on his head and walked in a small circle. "Why did you not tell me? You were young." "I am not young now. I did not want to put the weight on you." Obinna stopped and faced him. "So what now?" "He wants the land." Papa Obinna closed his eyes for a moment. "Yes." Obinna covered her mouth. Obinna felt his chest tighten. Their land was not just soil. It was the only thing their family still had. His grandfather had farmed it. His father had farmed it. Even if Obinna dreamed of leaving, he still knew that losing the land would break his father completely. "When?" Obinna asked. "Before the next market day." Obinna looked shocked. "That is in 3 days, Papa." Obinna nodded slowly. "He said if I do not pay, he will take the family land." Obinna's anger rose fast. "Let him try it." His father shook his head. My son, anger cannot pay debt. I will go and meet him. No, I said I will go and meet him. Papa Obina stood up, and for the first time that day his voice became hard. You will not go there and speak with pride. This is not a fight you can win with your mouth. Obina's eyes burned. Then, what do you want me to do? Stand here and watch him take everything? Papa Obina looked at him for a long moment. Then his voice dropped. There is another way. Obina froze. What way? His father sat back down, like the words were too heavy for him to say while standing. Chief Dyke said, he will cancel the debt if you marry someone. Obina stared at him. For a moment, he thought he had not heard well. Marry someone? Yes, Obina laughed again, this time louder. Chief Dyke is now choosing wives for people. Papa Obina did not laugh. Obina's smile slowly disappeared. Who? His mother looked away. That alone made Obina's heart beat faster. Who? Papa Obina's voice was low. Her name is Nena. Obina frowned. Nena Mama. Obina spoke before her husband could continue. That poor girl at the edge of the village. Obina's face twisted. The one living in that broken mud house near the old palm road. His father nodded. Obina stepped back. No, Obina, no. Papa, listen first. I said no. His voice was now loud enough for people outside to hear if they passed close. Mama Obina quickly moved nearer. Lower your voice. Obina turned to her. Mama, did you hear what he said? He wants me to marry that girl. Mama Obina wiped her eyes. You think I like it? You think my heart is happy? Obina looked from his mother to his father. Why her? Why must it be her? Papa Obina's jaw moved but no words came out. Obina leaned forward. Tell me the truth. Why must I marry a woman who is already pregnant? Mama Obina looked down. The silence answered before anyone spoke. Obina's voice shook with anger. So the whole village will laugh at me. Is that Obina, the proud farmer? Obina, the handsome man? Obina, who said he would marry a rich woman? Now Obina will marry a poor pregnant stranger, his father said softly. She is not a stranger to this village. She is a stranger to me. She has suffered. Is that my fault, Papa? Obina looked hurt by that question. No, but sometimes life puts people in front of us. Not because we chose them, but because something bigger is happening. Obina shook his head. Do not give me wise words, Papa. This is my life. And this land is our life too, Papa Obina said, his voice breaking. If Chief Dyke takes it, where will your mother sleep? Where will I go? Tell me, my son. Tell me and I will stand up now and refuse him. Obina opened his mouth but no answer came. His father moved closer to him. I know I failed you by hiding this debt, I know. But I am begging you as your father. Help me save this family. Obina looked at his father's tired face. He saw shame there. Not weakness. Shame that made the anger hurt more. He turned away and faced the wall. I had plans. I know. I wanted to leave this village. I know. I wanted a wife I could be proud of. Mama Obina made a small sound like the words pained her. Papa Obina said, a person is not poor because their clothes are poor. Obina turned back quickly. Papa, please. Do not make this girl sound like some hidden queen. She is pregnant. Nobody even knows who gave her the child. People avoid her. Children laughed when she passes. You know this. His father's eyes held something strange, something like fear. Something like a secret he could not say. I know what people say, Papa Obina said. But people do not always know the truth. Obina noticed the way he said it. What truth? Papa Obina looked away. What truth, Papa? Before his father could answer, a loud voice came from outside the compound. Obina, Papa Obina, are you hiding inside? Mama Obina stiffened. Papa Obina whispered. Chief Dyke. Obina turned toward the door as heavy footsteps entered the compound. Chief Dyke walked in, like the house belonged to him already. He was a big man with a round stomach, a gold chain around his neck, and a red cap sitting proudly on his head. Two young men followed him, both looking serious. Chief Dyke smiled when he saw Obina. Ah, the groom is here. Obina's hands tightened. I am not your groom, Chief Dyke laughed. You are not my groom. You are Nenena's groom. Obina stepped forward, but Papa Obina held his arm. Chief Dyke looked around the sitting room and shook his head. 3 days is not far money or land, unless the boy agrees. Obina looked him straight in the eye. Why do you care if I marry Nena? Chief Dyke's smile became thin. Because that is the agreement. With who? Chief Dyke's eyes moved to Papa Obina for a quick second. With people older than you. Obina noticed it. What are you hiding? Chief Dyke laughed again. but this time it sounded forced. "Young man, poverty has made you too bold. You should be thanking me. I am giving your family a way out. You are destroying my life." "No," Chief Dyke said. "Your father's debt did that." The words hit Papa Obinna like a slap. He lowered his head. Obinna felt the shame in the room, and his anger changed direction. He hated Chief Dyke more in that moment than he hated the marriage. Chief Dyke moved closer. "Let me explain it like I am talking to a child. If you marry Nena, the debt is gone. If you refuse, this land becomes mine. Your father will leave this house. Your mother will carry her cooking pots and follow him. You can still dream of city women under a tree." Mama Obinna began to cry quietly. Obinna looked at her, then at his father Papa. Obinna was not crying, but his eyes were full. Chief Dyke smiled because he knew he had won. "So Obinna," he said, "what will you choose?" Obinna wanted to say no. The word was ready in his mouth. But when he looked at his father's shaking hands, he could not say it. His voice came out low. "I will meet her first." Chief Dyke's smile widened. "Good, she is waiting." Obinna looked confused. "Waiting where?" "At my compound." Obinna turned sharply to his father. "You knew she was already there?" Papa Obinna could not meet his eyes. Chief Dyke clapped his hands once. "Let us go. A man should see his wife before he complains too much." Obinna followed them because he had no choice. His mother walked behind them, wiping her face with the edge of her wrapper. His father walked slowly, like each step was punishment. As they moved through the village, people began to stare. Some whispered. Some pretended not to watch, but their eyes followed Obinna. By the time they reached Chief Dyke's compound, Obinna's chest felt tight with shame. Nena was sitting on a wooden bench under a mango tree. She was young, maybe around 23. Her dress was faded, her slippers were old. Her small bag sat beside her feet. Her stomach showed clearly under her loose cloth. She looked tired, but she did not look weak in the way Obinna expected. Her back was straight. Her face was calm. Her eyes were quiet, but they did not beg. Chief Dyke pointed at her. "There she is." Nena stood slowly. Obinna looked at her, and all the anger he had carried from home rushed back. "So you are Nena?" "Yes," she said softly. Her voice was calm, too calm. Obinna stepped closer. "Did you agree to this?" She looked at Chief Dyke, then at Papa Obinna, then back at Obinna. "I was told it must happen." "That is not what I asked." Nena held his gaze. "No, I did not ask for it." Obinna laughed bitterly. "But you are here, and so are you," she said. The answer surprised him. Chief Dyke's smile faded a little. Obinna looked at her stomach, then back at her face. "I don't want this marriage." For a moment something moved in Nena's eyes. Pain maybe, but she did not cry. She picked up her small bag and held it close. "Then hate me if you must," she said softly. "I am used to it." Obinna had no answer. For the first time that day, the whole compound became silent. Even Chief Dyke said nothing. Nena looked away first, but not like someone defeated. More like someone who had already survived worse things than Obinna's anger. Obinna stood there, staring at the poor pregnant village girl he was being forced to marry, unaware that the woman before him was hiding a secret bigger than the whole village. The silence under Chief Dyke's mango tree did not end quickly. Obinna stood in front of Nena, with his jaw tight and his eyes hard. He had just told her he did not want the marriage, but her answer stayed in his chest like a stone. "Then hate me if you must. I am used to it." He wanted to say something sharp back to her. He wanted to tell her not to act like she was the only person suffering. He wanted to remind her that his life was also being pushed into a hole he did not dig. But when he looked at her face, he saw that she was not trying to win pity. She was only tired. Chief Dyke cleared his throat and clapped his hands once. "Enough staring. This matter has been settled." Obinna turned to him at once. "Nothing has been settled." Chief Dyke smiled. "You are still talking like a child. Your father owes me. Your family land is in my hand. The girl is here. The elders have agreed. What else remains?" "My own life remains," Obinna said. Chief Dyke's smile disappeared. "Your life? Young man, when your father borrowed my money, did he not use it to keep that same life you are shouting about?" Papa Obinna lowered his head. Obinna saw it and felt anger burn inside him again. But this time he had nowhere to put it. He shouted at Chief Dyke his father would suffer. If he refused the marriage, his family would lose everything. If he agreed, the whole village would laugh at him. And Nena quietly picked up her bag. Chief Dyke looked at her. "Where are you going?" "To my house," she said softly. Chief Dyke laughed. Your house? From today, your house is Obina's house. And Nena's fingers tightened around the old bag. The wedding has not happened. It will happen tomorrow morning, Chief Dyke said. No need for delay, Obina turned sharply. Tomorrow, Mama. Obina stepped forward, shocked. Chief, tomorrow is too soon. Chief Dyke looked at her, as if her words were small flies disturbing him. Depp does not need a long wedding. Papa Obina raised his face slowly. At least let us prepare, Chief Dyke waved his hand. Prepare what? Are you buying a new moon? The priest will come. The elders will sit, they will pour drink. The two of them will stand. That is all. Obina stared at Nena. She did not look surprised, that troubled him. You knew, he asked. She met his eyes. I was told, and you just accepted. Nena breathed in slowly. Some people are not given many doors to choose from. Obina almost answered. But Papa Obina touched his arm. Let us go home, his father said. Obina did not move at first. He kept looking at Nena, as if looking longer would explain her. But her face gave him nothing. She looked like someone who had locked all her secrets behind her eyes. So he turned and walked away. By evening the news had run through Umuaka like fire in dry grass. Obina was marrying Nena. Not next week, tomorrow. By sunrise, women had gathered near the village square, whispering with baskets on their arms. Men stood around palm wine shops, shaking their heads and laughing. Children ran behind one another, singing Nena's name like it was a joke. Obina heard everything. He stood inside his room, wearing a plain white shirt, staring at himself in a cracked mirror. He looked like a groom, but he did not feel like one. Chidi entered quietly and closed the door. My friend, Chidi said, the whole village is outside. Obina did not turn. Let them wait. Chidi stood beside him. I heard what happened. Is it true? Obina laughed without joy. You are asking me as if I invited you to eat wedding rice. Chidi's face became serious. Obina, I know this is hard. Obina faced him. Chidi, I am about to marry a woman I do not know, a pregnant woman. A woman the whole village has already judged. And everyone is watching, like today is a wrestling match. Chidi lowered his voice. Do you hate her? Obina paused. That question annoyed him because he did not know the answer. I don't know her enough to hate her. Then maybe don't punish her like you do. Obina looked at him sharply. Are you now on her side? I am on Sense's side. You are angry, yes. But from what I hear, she did not force you either. Obina looked away. Before he could answer, Mama Obina called from outside. Obina, come out. The priest is waiting. His stomach tightened. When he stepped out, the village square was already full. It was not decorated like a happy wedding. There were no singing women dancing in joy. There was no laughter of celebration. People stood in groups, whispering, watching, waiting. Nena stood near the priest. She wore a simple green wrapper and blouse. It was clean but old, her hair was tied back. Her small bag was beside her feet again, as if she was ready to run if the ground opened. The moment Obina appeared, the whispers became louder. Look at his face, he is ashamed. Who would not be? Pregnant bride, forced groom. This one is not wedding, it is punishment. Obina heard them all. His ears grew hot. He walked to stand beside Nena, but he did not look at her. The priest opened his small book and began to speak. His voice was calm, but the people were not listening for blessing. They were listening for shame. When the priest asked Obina if he accepted Nena as his wife, the whole place became quiet. Obina felt every eye on him. His father stood near the elders looking down. His mother held her wrapper tightly with both hands. Chief Dyke sat proudly on a wooden chair like a king, watching his own plan succeed. The priest asked again, Obina, do you accept Nena as your wife? Obina swallowed. For a second he saw the family land in his mind. He saw his father standing outside a lost home. He saw his mother carrying pots and crying. Then he looked at Nena. She was not looking at him. She was looking at the ground. I accept, Obina said. His voice was low, but everyone heard the anger inside it. Some people whispered. Some laughed softly. The priest turned to Nena. Nena, do you accept Obina as your husband? Nena lifted her head. Obina expected her voice to shake. It did not. I accept, she said. There was no smile, no joy. Just a calm answer from a woman who seemed to be standing inside a storm without moving. The short wedding ended with no music. A few people clapped lazily. Chief Dyke stood and smiled. The debt is cleared, he said loudly so everyone would hear. Papa Obina, Your land is safe." Papa Obinna closed his eyes like a man who had been spared and wounded at the same time. Obinna did not wait for anyone to greet him. He turned and walked away, and Nena picked up her bag and followed. That walk back to Obinna's house felt longer than any road he had ever walked. People watched from their doors. Some women covered their mouths. Some children pointed at Nenena's stomach until Chidi shouted at them to go away. At the compound, Mama Obinna stood by the entrance. Her face was cold. "So this is how you enter my house," she said to Nenena, "with shame tied around your waist." Nenena stopped. Obinna turned, but he said nothing. Mama Obinna looked at her son. "This is what debt has brought us." Papa Obinna spoke softly. "Woman, enough for today." "No," Mama Obinna said. "Let her hear me. I did not choose her. I did not pray for this. She will stay here because we have no choice, but she should not think she has entered as a queen." Nenena's eyes lowered. "I understand, Mama." "Do not call me Mama," Mama Obinna snapped. The words hit the air hard. Obinna saw Nenena's hand move to her stomach. Just a small movement, almost nothing, but he saw it. For one short moment he felt uncomfortable. Then he pushed the feeling away. Mama Obinna pointed toward the back of the house. "There is a small room near the kitchen. You will sleep there." Papa Obinna looked pained. "That room is too small." Mama Obinna turned to him. "Then give her our room." No one spoke after that. Nena carried her bag and walked toward the small room. Obinna followed her with his eyes. She entered without complaint. Later that evening, after the compound became quiet, Obinna went to the back of the house, and Nena was standing outside the small room, looking at the sky. He stopped a few steps away. "You heard my mother," he said. "This marriage happened to save my father's land. Do not expect love from me." Nena looked at him. "I did not ask for your love." Her answer made him angry, maybe because it was too calm. "Good. But I will ask for one thing," she said. "What?" She placed her hand over her stomach. "Do not harm my child." Obinna stared at her. "I am not that kind of man." "I hope so," she said. He wanted to shout at her for saying that. He wanted to ask what she thought of him, but something in her face stopped him. She was not accusing him. She was afraid in a quiet way. So he only said, "Stay out of my way." Then he turned and left. That night the whole house slept late. Mama Obinna cried softly in her room. Papa Obinna sat outside for a long time. Obinna lay awake, staring at the roof, wondering how one debt had turned him into a husband before he was ready. Behind the kitchen, Nenena sat alone on a wooden stool. The moon was weak, and the compound was dark. She opened her small bag and brought out an old phone wrapped in cloth. Her hands shook as she pressed it on. Before she could dial, a sound came from the road. A car. Not a village motorcycle, not a farmer's truck, a smooth, quiet car. Nena froze. Far from the compound gate, a black car stopped under the shadow of a tree. The lights went off. A man in a dark suit stepped out. He did not enter the compound. He only stood there watching the house. And Nena's breath became unsteady. She slowly stood and stepped back into the darkness near the kitchen wall. The man remained there for a few seconds, then brought out a phone and made a call. Nenena could not hear his words, but she knew what his presence meant. Her hand moved to her stomach again. "No," she whispered. "Not here." The man entered the car and drove away quietly. Nena stood there long after the road became empty. Then she looked toward Obinna's room, toward the house. She had entered in shame, and fear filled her eyes. "They have found me," she whispered. Nenena did not sleep after she saw the black car. She sat on the small mat in the room near the kitchen and listened to every sound in the compound. When a goat moved outside, her heart jumped. When the wind pushed the dry leaves across the ground, she held her breath. When Obinna coughed from his room, she closed her eyes and whispered to herself, "Calm down. Not yet, they are only watching." But even as she said it, her hand stayed on her stomach. By morning her eyes were tired, but she still came out before everyone else. She swept the small space near the kitchen, washed the dirty plates from the night before, and fetched water from the big clay pot. Mama Obinna came out and saw her bending near the firewood. "So you know how to work, Mama Obinna," said. Nena looked up. "Yes, good. In this house, nobody eats for free." Nena nodded and went back to arranging the firewood. Mama Obinna stood there for a while, watching her, like she was waiting for her to complain. But Nenena did not complain. She only moved slowly because of her pregnancy. When Obinna came out, He saw Nanena carrying a small bucket of water toward the kitchen. She walked carefully, one hand supporting her waist. He stopped by the door. "Why are you carrying that?" Nanena looked at him. "Your mother asked me to wash the pots." Obina frowned. "Did she ask you to carry water too?" Nanena did not answer at once. From behind them, Mama Obina's voice came sharp. "Is she a visitor? Should I carry it for her?" Obina turned. "Mama, she is pregnant." Mama Obina laughed without joy. "And was she not pregnant when she entered this house? Did I put the child there?" The words cut through the morning, and Nena lowered her eyes and continued walking. Obina watched her go, but he said nothing again. He told himself it was not his problem. He told himself she was not his real wife in his heart. But the way she had held the bucket stayed in his mind longer than he wanted. Days passed like that. Nena worked quietly. She cooked, she washed, she swept. She fetched water when Mama Obina told her to. She never shouted back. She never cried where anyone could see. That annoyed Mama Obina more. One afternoon, Mama Obina sat outside with two neighbors, Mama Kosi and Auntie Ifioma, and Nena was washing clothes nearby. Mama Kosi looked at Nena and whispered loudly, "This one is too quiet. Quiet people are dangerous." Auntie Ifioma nodded. "Especially women who carry secrets in their stomach." Mama Obina clicked her tongue. Let her carry all the secrets she wants. In this house, she will learn respect. Nena kept washing. Obina came in from the farm and heard the last part. He looked at Nena, then at the women. "Good afternoon," he said. The women greeted him, smiling, like they had not been speaking badly a second before. Mama Kosi laughed and said, "Obina, your wife is hard-working. At least she brought one good thing." Obina did not smile. And Nena squeezed water from a cloth and placed it on the line. As she lifted her hand, a small paper fell from inside the cloth she had been washing. The wind pushed it toward Obina's feet. He bent and picked it up. It was not a normal village paper. It looked like a piece of a newspaper, but the words on it were in big business English. He saw words like international markets, board decision, luxury group, and shareholder. He frowned. Nena, she turned quickly. When she saw the paper in his hand, her face changed for just 1 second. It was fast, but Obina caught it. "What is this?" he asked. "A paper, I can see that. Why do you have it?" She walked toward him and stretched her hand. "It is nothing important." Obina moved the paper back. "You read this?" "Yes." Mama Obina laughed from where she sat. "She reads business paper now. This village has become a drama." Obina ignored his mother. "Where did you learn to read things like this?" Nena looked at him calmly. "I went to school." "What school?" "A school far from here." "Where?" She held his eyes. "Far enough." Obina gave a short, angry laugh. "You answer questions like someone hiding inside a locked room." Nena lowered her voice. "Some rooms are locked for a reason." The women looked at one another. Mama Obina stood up. "Are you now speaking in riddles in my house?" Nena collected the paper from Obina's hand. "No, Mama. I told you not to call me that." And Nena's lips pressed together. "Yes." She went back to the clothes, but Obina kept watching her. That evening, something worse happened. Mama Obina suddenly became weak while cooking. The spoon fell from her hand and she held her chest. She cried. "My body!" Papa Obina rushed to her side. "Woman, what is it?" "I don't know. My head is turning. My chest is tight." Obina ran in from outside. Mama Obina began to breathe fast. Her eyes looked afraid. "Call the nurse," Papa Obina said. Obina turned to run, but Nena stepped forward. "Wait!" Everyone looked at her. Mama Obina groaned. "Do not touch me." Nena ignored the insult and bent near her. "Is the pain sharp or heavy?" Mama Obina blinked, confused. "What? Is it sharp like a knife or heavy like a stone?" Mama Obina swallowed. "Heavy." Nena turned to Obina. "Get water. Not cold, clean water." Obina stared at her. "Why?" "Do it now." The firmness in her voice made him move. Nena touched Mama Obina's wrist and counted silently. Then she looked at Papa Obina. "Does she take medicine for high blood pressure?" Papa Obina looked shocked. "Yes, but sometimes she forgets." Nena turned to the small shelf near the room. "Bring it." Obina returned with water. Papa Obina brought the small medicine pack with shaking hands. Nena checked it, looked at the label, then handed one tablet to Mama Obina. "Take this." Slowly. Mama Obina was too weak to argue. She swallowed it. Nena then said she must sit up. Do not let her lie flat. And nobody should crowd her. Auntie Ifoma, who had been watching from the door, whispered, How does she know all this? Obinna heard it. He looked at Nanena as she helped his mother breathe slowly. In, out, slowly again. Good. After some time, Mama Obinna's breathing became better, her fear reduced. Papa Obinna sat beside her with tears in his eyes. My daughter, he said without thinking. Thank you. Nanena froze at the word daughter. Mama Obinna noticed too, but she said nothing. Obinna stood near the door, staring at Nena like he had never really seen her before. Later that night, he waited behind the house. He did not know why he waited. Maybe it was the newspaper. Maybe it was the way she handled his mother. Maybe it was the black car he had not seen but felt in her fear. Near midnight, Nanena came out quietly with the old phone wrapped in cloth. Obinna hid behind the side wall. She looked around, then dialed a number. Her voice was low. I told you not to call this line unless it was serious. She paused. No, I cannot leave yet. Another pause. Because moving now will expose me. Obinna's eyes narrowed. Nena turned away slightly. Tell the board not to sign anything. Nobody must give him control. Do you hear me? Nobody. Obinna's heart began to beat faster. Board control. Then she said something that made him step closer without thinking. If Raymond knows where I am, he will come for the child first. A dry stick broke under Obinna's foot. Nanena turned sharply. Who is there? Obinna came out from the darkness. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Nena slowly lowered the phone. Obinna pointed at it. Who were you talking to? No one you know. What board? Her face became closed again. Go to sleep, Obinna. He stepped closer. Do not order me in my father's house. I am not ordering you, then answer me. She held the phone tightly. Some questions are dangerous. Obinna laughed in disbelief. Dangerous? Are you a thief? Are you running from someone? Did you bring trouble into this house? Nanena's eyes changed. For the first time, anger rose in them. I did not bring trouble here. Trouble followed me because someone I trusted tried to destroy me. Obinna paused. The pain in her voice was too real to ignore. Who? He asked, softer this time. Nena looked away. You are safer not knowing. Stop saying that. It is the truth. No. The truth is that you entered my family by force, and now you are hiding things that may hurt us. She looked back at him. I entered your family because powerful men made a deal with my life. Like I was a goat in the market. Do not act like you are the only one trapped. That silenced him. For a few seconds, only the night insects made noise. Then Nanena walked past him and entered her small room. Obinna stood there, breathing hard. He wanted to follow her and demand more answers, but something on the ground caught his eye. A small part of her bag had opened when she rushed inside. A gold bracelet had slipped halfway out. Obinna bent and picked it up. It was heavy, too fine for a poor village girl. Too expensive for someone who owned only one old bag. He turned it slowly in his hand. There were words carved neatly on the inside, Naomi Kane. Obinna stared at the name until the letters seemed to move. Then he looked toward Nena's closed door and whispered to himself. Who are you? Obinna did not sleep that night. He sat on the edge of his bed with the gold bracelet in his hand. The room was dark, but the moonlight from the small window touched the bracelet and made it shine. Naomi Kane. He read again and again. It did not sound like a poor village girl's name. It sounded like the name of someone who lived behind high gates. Someone who entered cars with drivers opening doors for her. Someone who did not know what it meant to wash pots behind a kitchen. Obinna closed his hand around the bracelet. Nanena, he whispered. Then he shook his head. No. Naomi Kane, the name felt heavy in his mouth. He wanted to go to her room at once and demand the truth. But he stopped himself. If he woke the house, Mama Obinna would ask questions, Papa Obinna would worry, and Nanena would close her face again and tell him some truths were dangerous. So he waited until morning, but morning did not make his mind calm. It made it worse. And Nena came out early as usual and started sweeping the compound. Her movements were slow because of the pregnancy, but her face was calm, like she had not spoken to a secret person. In the night, like an expensive gold bracelet had not fallen from her bag. Obinna stood near his door watching her. She felt his eyes and turned. What? She asked. Obinna almost raised the bracelet, but he held himself. Nothing. She looked at him for a moment, then went back to sweeping. Mama Obinna came out and noticed them. Why are you standing there staring? Has the broom entered your eye? She asked Obinna. Obinna did not answer. He walked out of the compound with the bracelet hidden inside his pocket. He did not go to the farm. Instead, he took the footpath that led to the main road. From there he entered a small bus going to the nearby town. The whole ride, he kept touching his pocket to make sure the bracelet was still there. When he reached the town, he went straight to a small cyber cafe beside a phone repair shop. The place was hot, and the fans made noise without giving much air. Young boys were playing games on some computers. A woman at the counter looked up at him. "You want to browse?" she asked. "Yes," Obina said. "How many minutes?" 30, she pointed to a computer at the corner. Obina sat down. His fingers felt stiff as he typed the name Naomi Kane. The screen loaded slowly. Obina leaned closer. Then the results appeared. His body went cold. Pictures filled the screen. Pictures of a beautiful woman in expensive clothes. Pictures of her standing beside foreign business people. Pictures of her shaking hands with ministers. Pictures of her walking on a red carpet with guards behind her. The face was different because of the makeup, the hair, and the fine clothes. But the eyes were the same, quiet, sharp, heavy with secrets. Obina clicked one news story. The headline made him stop breathing for a second. Missing billionaire, Naomi Kane feared dead after deadly attack on private convoy. He clicked another one. Naomi Kane, owner of Kane Luxury Group, disappears while pregnant. He clicked another. Family power fight grows. After Naomi Kane vanishes, Obina sat back slowly. Pregnant, missing billionaire. He put his hand over his mouth. "No," he whispered. "No, this cannot be." The boy beside him looked over. "Brother, are you okay?" Obina stood so fast the chair moved back loudly. The woman at the counter frowned. "Your time has not finished." Obina dropped money on the table and left without waiting for change. The road outside looked too bright. People were buying things, laughing, arguing over prices. Life was moving like normal, but Obina felt like the ground had shifted under his feet. The poor woman sleeping near their kitchen was not poor. The woman his mother insulted every day was not ordinary. The village girl everyone mocked was Naomi Kane, one of the richest women alive. Obina walked back to the bus park, like a man inside a dream. Inside the bus, he kept seeing her face in his mind. The way she carried water quietly. The way she helped his mother breathe. The way she said, "I did not bring trouble here. Trouble followed me now." He understood a little, but understanding did not remove his fear. It made it worse. By the time Obina returned home, the sun was already low. Nanena was behind the kitchen, washing a small pot. Obina walked straight to her. "We need to talk." She looked at his face and knew something had changed. "Not here," she said. "No, here, Obina." He brought out the bracelet. Her hands stopped inside the basin. The pot slipped from her fingers and hit the ground. For the first time since she entered that house, Obina saw real fear on her face. "Where did you get that?" she asked. "It fell from your bag. You had no right to search my things." "I did not search. It fell out." She stretched her hand. "Give it back." "Who are you?" Nanena. Obina stepped closer. "Do not lie to me." She looked toward the main house. "Your voice. Why? Are you afraid my poor family will hear that they have been keeping a billionaire near their kitchen?" Her eyes widened. "Obina, please." He laughed. But his voice shook. "So is true." Nanena closed her eyes. "Please lower your voice." "Your name is Naomi Kane." She did not answer. That silence was enough. Obina stared at her, like he was seeing two women standing in one body. "All this time," he said slowly, "all this time, you let us believe you were poor. I needed people to believe it. You let my mother insult you. I have heard worse. You let the whole village mock you. That kept me alive." Obina shook his head. "Alive from who?" Nanena looked at the bracelet in his hand. "Give it back first." "No. Talk first." Her face became hard. "That bracelet is one of the few things I have left that still carries my real name. Do not use it like a weapon against me." The pain in her voice made Obina's anger slow down. But it did not disappear. He handed it to her. She held it with both hands, like it was not gold but memory. For a while, she said nothing. Then she whispered, "My real name is Naomi Kane." Obina's heart beat fast, even though he already knew. She continued, "But if you say that name outside this place, people may die." Obina swallowed. "Why?" Naomi looked toward the darkening sky. "Because there are people looking for me. People like the man you spoke about." Raymond. Her face changed again. "You heard that too." "I heard enough." Naomi sat slowly on a wooden stool. Her hand moved to her stomach. "Raymond Kane is my uncle. My father's younger brother. When my parents died, he helped me run the company. I trusted him. I called him family. Obina stood still. What happened? Her voice became smaller. He wanted control, not just to help me to own everything. The company, the money, the properties, the power. And you refused. I was going to remove him from the board after I found out he was stealing. I had proof. Obina listened, without blinking. Then one night, my convoy was attacked on the way back from a private meeting. Her hand tightened on the bracelet. My fiancé Toby was with me. He pushed me down before the first glass broke. He covered me. He kept saying, "Naomi, stay down, do not move." Her voice broke, but she forced it steady. He did not leave that road alive. Obina's anger drained from his face. The child. He looked at her stomach. Naomi saw the look and nodded. Yes. This child is his. Obina sat on a low bench opposite her. For the first time, he did not know what to say. Naomi wiped her face quickly. I escaped because one of my guards hid me in a delivery truck. Everyone thought I died or disappeared. I came to Umuaka because no one would search for Naomi Kane inside a poor village girl's torn dress. But why my family? Obina asked. Naomi looked away. That part is not simple. Nothing about you is simple. She gave a tired smile that disappeared quickly. I did not choose the marriage, Obina. I was hiding near this village before Chief Dyke found me. He knew something, not everything. He used my fear and your father's debt to push us together. Obina stood. So Chief Dyke knows, not my full truth, but he knows I am not what I seem. Obina paced once, then turned to her. And you were going to stay here, with danger around us. I was trying to leave quietly, when, soon, without telling anyone. I thought that was safer. Obina's voice rose. Safer? A black car came here, didn't it? Naomi froze. Obina stepped closer. I saw your fear yesterday morning. I heard your call. Tell me the truth. Have they found you? Before Naomi could answer, something smashed through the small back window. The sound cracked through the compound like thunder. Naomi jumped up with a sharp cry and held her stomach. Obina turned quickly. A stone rolled across the floor. A piece of paper was tied around it. Papa, Obina shouted from inside the house. What was that? Mama, Obina screamed. Thieves! Obina picked up the stone with shaking hands and untied the paper. Naomi stood beside him, breathing fast. He opened the note. The writing was short and dark. We know where you are. Give us the child, or everyone in this house will suffer. Obina looked at Naomi. Her face had lost all color. Then he picked up the cutlass, leaning beside the kitchen wall, and moved toward the door. Naomi grabbed his arm. Obina. He looked back at her. For once, he said, his voice low and hard. Do not tell me I am safer not knowing. Outside the night was quiet. Too quiet. Obina stood by the door with the cutlass in his hand. The note was still on the floor behind him, but the words had already entered his head like fire. Give us the child or everyone in this house will suffer. Naomi held his arm tightly. Obina, listen to me, she said in a low voice. Do not run outside like that. He looked at her hand on his arm, then at her face. You want me to stand here and wait? I want you to think. My family is in this house, and that is why you must think, Papa. Obina came from the sitting room with a small lantern in his hand. Mama Obina stood behind him shaking. What is happening? Papa Obina asked. Who threw that stone? Obina did not answer at once. Mama Obina saw the cutlass and cried out. Obina, what is going on? Naomi bent and picked up the note before Mama Obina could reach it. But Mama Obina was fast. What is that? She asked. Naomi held the paper close. Nothing. Mama Obina's eyes widened. Nothing broke my window. Nothing made my son carry cutlass. Papa Obina moved closer. Nanena, give me the paper. Naomi stood still. Obina looked at her. They need to know. Naomi shook her head. No. They are already inside this danger. Mama Obina stepped forward and snatched the note from Naomi's hand. She read it. Her lips opened, but no sound came out at first. Then she looked at Naomi's stomach. The child? She whispered. Which child? Papa Obina took the note from her and read it too. His hand began to shake. Who are these people? He asked. Naomi looked away. Mama Obina stepped back, as if Naomi had turned into a stranger right in front of her. You brought this here, she said. Naomi closed her eyes. Mama. I said do not call me that, Mama Obina shouted. You entered my house with shame. Now you brought death too. Obina turned quickly. Mama, stop, no, let me speak. We were managing our poor life before she came. We had debt, yes, but we were alive. Now people are throwing death letters into my house. Naomi's face broke for 1 second. I did not come here to hurt anyone, she said. I came because I had nowhere safe to go. Mama Obinna laughed, but fear made the laugh sound weak. Nowhere safe, so you chose my house to be unsafe. Papa Obinna raised his hand. Enough. This is not the time. But Mama Obinna was already crying. What do they want from you? Who are you? Naomi looked at Obinna. He knew she was asking him silently not to speak, but he also knew the hiding was over. He said, her real name is Naomi Kane. Papa Obinna stared at him. Mama Obinna frowned through her tears. What kind of name is that? Obinna swallowed. She is the missing billionaire woman. The one from the news. The one people said died. The lantern in Papa Obinna's hand shook harder. Mama Obinna looked at Naomi again slowly this time. For the first time, she did not look at her like a poor girl. She looked at her like a danger she did not understand. You, she whispered. You, Naomi did not raise her head. Yes. Mama Obinna sat down on the nearest bench like her legs had failed her. Obinna moved to the door again. If they are outside, I need to see them. Naomi blocked him. No. They may be waiting for you to step out. So what do we do? She looked toward the back of the house. There is an old barn behind the plantain trees. Is it still empty? Obinna frowned. Yes. I need to hide there. Mama Obinna looked up sharply. Hide in my barn? So when they come, they will search here and kill us. Naomi turned to her, and her voice shook. I am sorry. I am truly sorry. But if I leave now through the open road, they will see me. If they take me, they will take my child too. Mama Obinna's anger softened for a moment when Naomi touched her stomach, but fear quickly covered it again. Papa Obinna looked at Obinna. Take her. Obinna nodded. Naomi grabbed her small bag and wrapped a cloth around her shoulders. Obinna opened the back door slowly and looked out. The night dark, too dark. No moon, no village noise. He led Naomi through the back path. They moved slowly because of her pregnancy. Every dry leaf under their feet sounded too loud. When a dog barked far away, Naomi stopped and grabbed Obinna's shirt. They are here, she whispered. Keep moving, Obinna said. They reached the old barn. Obinna pushed the wooden door open. The smell of dried grass and old wood filled the air. Stay here, he said. Naomi entered, then turned back. Obinna, what? If anything happens, do not fight them like a hero. Run with your parents. He stared at her. You think I will leave you? I think you do not understand the kind of people coming. He stepped closer to the barn door. You are my wife now. Her eyes changed. He did not say it softly. He did not say it like love. He said it like a duty he had finally chosen with his own mouth. Even if this marriage started badly, he continued, I will not watch them kill you. Naomi stared at him for a long moment. Then she whispered, do not make promises you may not survive. Obinna closed the barn door halfway. Stay low. Do not come out unless I call you. He returned to the house quickly. By then, Papa Obinna had put out the lantern. Mama, Obinna sat on the floor holding her chest and praying under her breath. Obinna bent near her. Mama, listen to me. Go into the inner room with Papa. Lock the door. Mama Obinna grabbed his wrist. My son, don't go outside. I won't go far. That is what your father said when he borrowed money. Small thing now, see where we are. Papa Obinna's face tightened, but he did not speak. Then they heard it, a footstep near the front gate. Everyone froze. Another footstep followed. Then a man's voice whispered outside. Check the windows, Obinna slowly lifted the cutlass. Papa Obinna pulled Mama Obinna toward the inner room. The front door shook once, then again. A voice called softly, Niena. Obinna's blood went cold. The man outside laughed. Or should we call you Naomi? Mama Obinna covered her mouth to stop herself from crying out. Obinna moved close to the wall beside the door. The door shook again, harder this time. We know you are inside, the man said. Give us the woman, and nobody else will suffer. Obinna shouted. There is no woman here for you. The outside went silent. Then the voice said, Who is that, the village husband? Another man laughed quietly. Obinna tightened his hand around the cutlass. The door burst open. Two men rushed in. Obinna swung the cutlass. Not to cut deep, but to scare them back. One man jumped away. The other pushed him hard. Obinna fell against a chair, but he stood again fast. Where is she? One man shouted. Obinna blocked the way to the back door. Leave this house, the man smiled. You want to die for a woman who lied to you. Obinna's chest moved fast. She is not yours. The man came at him. Obinna fought like a man who had never trained, but had too much to lose. He hit one man with a wooden stool. Another grabbed him from behind. Obinna elbowed him and broke free. From the inner room, Mama Obinna screamed, "Obinna!" That scream made one of the men turn toward the room. Obinna rushed him. "Do not touch my parents." The man punched him hard in the stomach. Obinna bent, gasping. Another blow hit his face. He fell to one knee, but he still grabbed the man's leg and pulled him down. Outside, more voices rose. "She is not in the house. Search the back." Obinna's heart dropped to the barn. He forced himself up and ran through the back door before the men could stop him. Behind the house, he saw two shadows moving toward the plantain trees. Naomi was still in the barn. Obinna picked up a stone and threw it at a metal basin near the goat pen. The loud sound made the men turn. "She ran that way," Obinna shouted, pointing toward the bush path. The men rushed toward the sound. It worked for only a few seconds. Then one of them stopped. "He is lying." Obinna ran toward the barn. "Naomi," he shouted, "move." The barn door opened. Naomi came out holding her bag and breathing hard. "This way," Obinna said, pulling her toward a narrow path behind the old cassava farm. But before they could reach it, a man stepped out from the dark and blocked them. He was tall with a scar near his mouth. "Madam," he said with a smile, "you made us work too hard." Naomi stepped back. Obinna stood in front of her. The man looked at him and laughed. "You move." Obinna raised the cutlass. The man moved fast. He kicked Obinna's hand, and the cutlass fell. Then he struck Obinna across the head with something hard. Naomi screamed. Obinna fell to the ground. His ears rang. The world turned sideways. He saw Naomi kneel beside him. "Obinna, Obinna, look at me." The scarred man grabbed her arm. "Enough. You are coming with us." Naomi pulled back with all her strength. "Do not touch me." She reached into her bag with shaking hands and brought out the old phone. The scarred man tried to snatch it, but she pressed one button before he could. Her voice changed. It was no longer the voice of the quiet woman near the kitchen. It was sharp, strong, full of command. "This is Naomi Kane," she said into the phone. "Send my security team now. Umuaka village back road, move fast." The scarred man's smile disappeared. "You foolish woman." Before he could hit the phone from her hand, headlights flooded the path. One pair, then another, then another. Black SUVs stormed into the village from the far road, raising dust behind them. Men in dark clothes jumped out. They moved quickly with purpose. "Madam," one of them shouted. The attackers turned to run, but the security men surrounded them. Naomi fell beside Obinna and lifted his head gently. "Stay with me," she cried. "Please stay with me." Obinna tried to speak, but his mouth tasted like blood. He saw the guards kneel before her. One of them bowed his head. "Madam, the jet is ready." Obinna's eyes moved slowly to Naomi. The poor pregnant wife was no longer poor in the eyes of anyone there. She held his face with both hands, tears on her cheeks. He forced out a weak whisper, "So it was true." Then the village lights blurred around him as people rushed toward the compound, shouting in fear and shock. Warm air touched Obinna's face when he opened his eyes. The ceiling above him was painted white, and had lights that were not candles or kerosene lamps. A soft hum came from a machine near his bed. The sheets under him felt smooth, like something only people in stories used. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his head and side. He heard a chair move. When he turned his head, he saw Naomi sitting beside the bed. Her hair was neat, her dress clean. There was no dust on her shoes. Her eyes were tired but still steady, as if she had not slept since the night of the attack. "Where are we?" Obinna whispered. His voice sounded weak. "In a hospital in Lagos," Naomi replied quietly. "A private hospital." Obinna looked around again. He had never been in such a place. The bed could move with buttons. The walls were painted with soft colors. He heard people in white coats speaking English in the corridor. He felt small and out of place. Naomi touched his arm gently. "You fainted after they hit you. My guards brought us here. They have been guarding this room all night." Obinna's mind rushed back to the night. The stone through the window, the men with hard eyes, the fight, the cutlass falling from his hand. Naomi calling on a phone with command in her voice. The black cars arriving like thunder. "You have guards," he said slowly. "You have a hospital, you have cars. You have everything." Naomi looked down. "I did not want to bring all this into your life." "You already did," he said. Not to blame her, but because the truth was clear. He turned his head, and saw a television on the wall. The screen showed a news reporter speaking fast. At the bottom of the screen, words scrolled across. Naomi Kane alive. Missing billionaire rescued from village attack. Obinna stared. His name was not there. The attack their village was now a story on national television. A nurse entered quietly with a tray. She smiled kindly and checked Obinna's pulse, then looked at Naomi with respect. "Madam, the doctor will come soon," she said. Naomi nodded. "Thank you." When the nurse left, Obinna whispered, "You are not hiding anymore." "No," Naomi said. "The whole world knows now. I had to call for help. I knew I could not keep my secret any longer." The door opened again and two men in suits stepped inside. Their shoulders were broad and they wore small devices in their ears. One bowed his head. "Madam, we secured the perimeter presses outside. The board members of the company are calling non-stop. And there is news from the Kane family." Naomi's back straightened. "What news?" "They demand you join a video call at once. They say it is urgent." Obinna watched her face change. He had seen Naomi calm in front of attackers. Now, her jaw tightened. "Tell them I will call when I am ready," she said. The man nodded and left. Obinna waited until the door closed. "Who are these board members?" he asked. "They are leaders in my company," Naomi said. "They help run the business. When I disappeared, some of them stayed loyal. Others listened to my uncle Raymond." "The one who tried to take your company," Obinna said. "Yes. And now they all know you are alive. They are happy, angry, and afraid at the same time. Happy I'm alive, angry because the company decisions will change, and afraid because Raymond will fight harder." Obinna shifted on the bed. "What will happen to us?" Naomi sighed and looked down at her hands. "The news is already running stories. People will talk. Some will say you married me because you knew I was rich. They will call you names." Obinna felt heat in his face. "I did not even like you at first." Naomi gave a small sad laugh. "They will not believe that. To them, you are the poor farmer who trapped the richest woman in Africa." Obinna frowned. "I do not care what they say." Naomi looked at him. "You will care when they come to your farm with cameras. When they follow you and ask rude questions. When men like Raymond threaten you just to hurt me." Obinna wanted to say he was not afraid, but he remembered the stone through their window, the men in the night, and the note. Fear sat in his stomach like cold water. Naomi placed her hand on his. "I did not plan for you to suffer like this. I wanted to leave the village quietly. I wanted to face my enemies far away from your family. I thought if I hid long enough, I could gather proof of Raymond's crimes and return with law and police on my side. But things changed." Obinna looked at her hand. Her fingers were slim and clean. When she first came to his house, they had been rough from sweeping and fetching water. "What will you do now?" he asked. She took a deep breath. "I will face him sooner than I planned. I have some evidence hidden in different places. I have people who can speak against him. I will use everything I have to make sure he cannot hurt me, my child, or your family." "And me?" Obinna asked quietly. "What will I do?" "You will heal first," Naomi said. "Your head needs to rest. After that, we will see. My guards will protect you, but the world will say many things. I cannot stop their words." A knock came at the door. A man in a tidy suit stepped in with a laptop. He wore glasses and had a neat haircut. "Madam," the board insisted, "they say it involves your uncle. And the village." Naomi's eyes sharpened. "Put it on the table." The man placed the laptop on a small table and opened it. Faces appeared on the screen, some familiar to Naomi from past business meetings. Some looked worried, others excited. In the middle, a new face appeared. It was Raymond. He wore a dark suit and sat in a rich office. His smile was thin. "My dear niece," Raymond said in a silky voice. "So you are alive. What a miracle. The world will celebrate." Naomi's lips pressed together. "Uncle Raymond, you sound cold," he said. "Is that how you greet family?" "I will greet family when I see them," Naomi replied. "What do you want?" Raymond spread his hands. "To welcome you back to your rightful place. The company needs a strong leader. The board needs you. I need you. We can work together, as before." As Naomi's eyes did not soften. "You had your chance to work with me. You tried to kill me instead." Raymond laughed lightly. "Oh Naomi, you always had a wild imagination. There were bandits on that road. We all mourned when you disappeared." I cried. Obinna felt anger rise, even though he was just listening. He remembered the pain in Naomi's voice when she talked about Toby. Raymond leaned closer to the camera. Anyway, I will not fight you now. I have a simple offer. Return to the company at once. Stop hiding in villages and hospitals. Hand over your child to be raised by the family, as is tradition, and I will forgive all the trouble you have caused. Naomi's face went pale. Forgive? The child is mine. Ours, Raymond said smoothly. Ours as in the family's. Think of history. Think of power. You cannot raise a future cane heir in a poor compound with farmers. Obinna clenched his fist. He had never been called farmer with such disgust before. Naomi leaned forward, her voice shaking but strong. Never, my child is not your key to the company. Toby died for this child. I will not hand him or her over to you. Raymond's eyes narrowed. That is unwise. Threatening me is unwise, Naomi replied. Raymond's smile faded. His next words were cold. If you do not come back, I will destroy the village that hid you. I know which one it is. I know every house and every face. Do not test me, niece. Binna felt his heart jump. Naomi's hands gripped the sides of the chair. If you touch that village, Raymond cut in, then come back to the company. Now the line went dead. The room was silent except for the hum of the machine near Obinna's bed. Naomi looked at Obinna, fear and anger mixed in her eyes. He knows about Umuaka, she whispered. Obinna pushed himself up, ignoring the pain. We cannot let him do anything to my home. Naomi stood. I have to stop him. But I will not send you back into danger without protection. But my parents, Obinna said. My friends, Chidi, they are all there. Naomi took his hand. We will protect them together. But I need you to trust me now. I need you to heal quickly. I need you to stay. Her voice cracked on the last word. Obinna looked at her for a long moment. You saved me last night. You saved my parents. You saved our land. Now I will stand by you. Naomi wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. She gave a small, broken smile. You were supposed to marry a rich woman, remember? Now you truly have one. Obinna shook his head. No, I wanted a rich woman for my pride. I did not know what comes with it. But I will not run away outside the room. The press asked questions in the boardroom. Men argued. In a village far away, people slept without knowing a storm was coming. Inside the quiet hospital room, a young man and a young woman who had once been strangers looked at each other with new understanding. One was forced into a marriage by debt. The other was forced into hiding by betrayal. Now, they both faced a powerful enemy who threatened everything they cared about. And as Naomi Kane stood tall, ready to fight, Obinna knew their lives had changed forever. Obinna's wound healed faster than anyone expected. He refused to stay in the hospital longer than he needed. The doctors warned him to rest, but he could not rest while he imagined Raymond's men walking into his village. On the third day, he stood with his bag packed. Naomi sat on the bed, watching him with a frown. You should not be traveling yet, she said. I cannot stay here while my father and mother may be in danger, Obinna replied. My guards are watching your village, Naomi said. No one will attack without us knowing. Please sit down. But Obinna shook his head. What if they attack when your guards are not looking? What if they come through the bush? You do not know every path like we do. Naomi stood and walked to the window. She looked out at the city below. Cars moved like ants, buildings touched the sky. She had never felt small in this city, but now the distance between Lagos and Umuaka felt like a deep river she could not cross quickly enough. She turned to him. You are stubborn, she said. You are too, he replied. Naomi smiled slightly. Maybe that is why we are both still alive. The door opened. A man in a black suit entered with a tablet. Madam, the plane is ready. The route is clear. The pilot has permission to land near the village. Obinna looked confused. Plane? Naomi nodded. I will not let you travel in a bus with a bandage on your head while my uncle is hunting us. We will fly. It is faster and safer. Obinna's eyes widened. He had never been on a plane. He had only seen them as small silver birds in the sky. Are you sure? He asked. And, Obinna, she said, lowering her voice, I need to go to the village too. There are things I must do before I face Raymond and the board. Obinna frowned. It is dangerous for you to go back. People will recognize you. They will, Naomi agreed. And that is exactly why I need to go. People need to see who I am. Your mother needs to see. The village needs to understand. And I need to speak to my father's land. Obinna did not understand that last line, but he nodded. Then we will go together. 2 hours later, they stood on a small airstrip near Lagos. Naomi's guards, dressed in black, moved around with quick organized steps. A sleek plane waited. Its body was white with no big company name on it. Obinna swallowed hard and followed Naomi up the steps. Inside, the seats were soft and smelled new. There were no other passengers. Naomi sat beside the window. Obinna sat beside her and held the armrest. As the plane lifted, his stomach flipped. Naomi placed her hand over his and smiled reassuringly. "Your first time," she whispered. He nodded and gripped the seat tighter. The flight was short. When they landed near Umuaka, the hot village air rushed into the plane when the door opened. It smelled of earth and plantain. Obinna breathed it in deeply. For a moment he forgot the pain and the danger and felt only relief. They drove into the village in a convoy. Children ran after the black cars, laughing and shouting. Women stopped pounding yam to stare. Men came out of palm wine shops, wiping their hands on their trousers. Word spread faster than fire. Obinna has come back. He came with a rich woman. It is true, she is Naomi Kane. People stood by the road whispering and pointing. Mama Obinna stood in the compound doorway. When the cars stopped, she looked thinner, her eyes red from lack of sleep. When she saw Obinna, she rushed forward and hugged him tightly, ignoring the guards around them. My son, she cried. Obinna held her tears in his eyes. I am here, Mama. Mama Obinna then looked at Naomi. The anger and fear in her face from before had changed into something else. She did not know whether to bow, hug, or stare. Naomi stepped forward and took Mama Obinna's hands. I am sorry for bringing danger to your house, she said softly. I have not forgotten your pain. I will make things right. Mama Obinna looked at her hands being held by Naomi Kane, the woman from the news. She remembered the insults she had thrown. The shame she had spoken of. Tears filled her eyes. I called you shame, she whispered. I chased you like a dog, and yet you saved my husband. You saved my son. Naomi's eyes glistened. I did what anyone would do. No, Mama Obinna said, shaking her head. You did more. You are not anyone. You are a person. Naomi cut in gently. A woman like you, a mother soon. Let us stop seeing each other as titles, and see each other as people. Mama Obinna broke down and fell to her knees. Naomi quickly pulled her up and hugged her. Women in the compound cried softly. Men turned their faces away to wipe their eyes. That evening, Naomi sat under the same mankree where she had first met Obinna. This time she wore a simple dress but did not hide her face. People gathered, some sitting, some standing. Obinna stood beside her, his bandage, but a bruise still visible. Chidi came and shook his friend's hand strongly, then hugged him. You are still alive, Chidi said, relief clear in his voice. So are you, Obinna replied. Chidi looked at Naomi with wide eyes. And you, Naomi? Smiled at him. Yes, I am. Wow. Laughter broke through the crowd for a moment, easing the heavy air. Naomi raised her voice. People of Umuaka, I have something to say. I came here hiding from my enemies. I did not mean to put you in danger. I married Obinna to hide. I know you felt betrayed. I know some of you were angry. Murmurs spread. Some nodded. Others shifted. Naomi continued. But this village protected me. Your kindness and your cruelty saved my life. Your words, even when they hurt, kept me invisible to those who wanted to kill me. For that, I am grateful. Today, I want to repay a part of that debt. She stood and looked at the elders. First, Chief Dyke, I will pay back every kobo my father-in-law owes you. Not with another marriage or land, but with money. True money with no strings attached. My men have it ready. Chief Dyke, who had been trying to sneak into the gathering, froze. His mouth opened. He had not expected to be called out. Some villagers laughed quietly at his discomfort. Naomi continued. Second, I will build a small clinic here. No mother should fear dying, because there is no medicine. No father should carry his wife miles on a bicycle when she cannot breathe. I will train nurses. I will bring medicines. The clinic will be free for all. A murmur of surprise and joy spread through the crowd. She looked at the youths. Third, I will make sure your children do not have to leave this village forever to find hope. I will start a small school for those who cannot pay. I will also help some of you learn new skills, so you can build businesses here. Cheers rose. Obinna watched her speak, and felt something strange pride. He was proud of her, not because she was rich, but because she cared about his people. After the meeting, Naomi and Obinna walked back to the compound. The sun had set. Stars began to appear. Obinna carried a lantern. Naomi walked close to him. You did not have to promise all that, Obina said softly. Yes, I did, Naomi replied. This village saved my life. It hid me. It suffered because of me. I have power, Obina. If I do not use it to protect people, then I am worse than Raymond. He nodded. I understand. They reached the compound gate. Naomi hesitated. Obina, there is something I need to tell you. What? She looked nervous. You wanted to marry a rich woman. You said it many times. He laughed quietly. Do not remind me. No, listen, she said, stopping. She took a breath. Do you still want a rich woman, or do you want me? Obina stopped walking. He placed the lantern on the ground. Naomi, he said gently. I wanted a rich woman because I thought she would solve all my problems. Now I know having money does not remove pain. A poor woman can save a life. A rich woman can be hunted. What matters is the person. And you are more than your money. Naomi looked at him with hope in her eyes. And you are more than a farmer or a forced husband. You could have run away. You could have let those men take me. You did not. He reached out and held her hand. I am not going anywhere. For a moment they stood close, no noise around them. The moonlight touched Naomi's face. She smiled, not the small tired smile she had given before, but a true one. Then a loud buzz came from Naomi's bag. She pulled out her phone and looked at the screen, her face drained. It's a call, she whispered. It's from Raymond. Obina's stomach tightened. She answered and placed it on speaker. Raymond's voice came through calm and cold. Good evening, niece. I see you are busy playing queen in that small village. I hope you are enjoying the applause. What do you want? Naomi, attention, he said. I tried to reach you earlier for business, but you were too busy giving charity speeches. So I had to think of another way. The screen changed. Obina saw a video. His father, Papa Obina, sat tied to a chair in a dim room. A man with a scar on his face stood behind him, holding a knife close to his neck. Obina's heart stopped. Naomi's hand flew to her mouth. Raymond's voice continued, smooth like oil. Now, Naomi, you will do what I say, or this will be the last day your husband's father breathes. The video froze on Papa Obina's scared face. Obina's knees went weak. Naomi dropped the phone. Her eyes met his. Fear, anger, and determination flashed between them. Raymond has Papa, Obina whispered. Naomi nodded slowly. Then this just became more than a fight for a company. It is a fight for family. The next morning, Naomi and Obina did not sleep. They sat at a wooden table with Naomi's guards. Papers spread out, phones ringing with calls and messages. There was no time to cry. They had to act quickly. We cannot attack Raymond in anger, Naomi said firmly. That is what he wants. He knows we are desperate. He will use Papa as a shield. Obina clenched his fists. He took my father. I want to storm his place and break everything. Naomi shook her head. And if you die, and if he kills Papa while you are on the way, no. We need to be smart. The head guard, a quiet man named Kola, spoke. Madam, we have information. We tracked the video signal from Raymond's call. It came from a warehouse near the port. It is heavily guarded. We cannot rush in without backup. Naomi nodded. We will not go alone. I have evidence that Raymond planned the attack on my convoy and stole money from the company. I have been gathering it for months. I was waiting to present it to the authorities. We will use it now. She opened a folder. Inside were copies of bank documents, recordings of Raymond discussing money transfers, and letters signed by board members. Obina looked at the papers, amazed at how much Naomi had prepared even while hiding in his village. How did you get all this? He asked. I knew my uncle, she replied simply. I always knew he might betray me. I kept records. I listened in on meetings. I saved emails. But I did not have enough power alone to arrest him. Now I do. Naomi called a number on her phone. Inspector Laddie, she said when a voice answered. This is Naomi Kane. Yes, I know you are surprised. I need you to come to Umuaka now. I have evidence of crimes committed by Raymond Kane, and he has kidnapped my father-in-law. If you come, be ready to act. The inspector hesitated at first, but Naomi's calm authority and the promise of proof convinced her. I will be there, Laddie said. Naomi hung up and looked at Kola. Prepare to go to the warehouse with the police. You and your team will protect Papa. I will show the evidence to the police and the media. We will not hide anything. Raymond will not talk his way out this time. Obina turned to her. And me? What will I do? You will stay here, she said. No, he replied immediately. He took my father. I have to be there. Naomi's face tightened. If you die, your mother will lose her husband and her son. I cannot let that happen. Please, Obina, trust me." Obina looked at her, his anger fighting his fear. He saw her eyes begging him to stay. He nodded slowly. "I will stay with Mama. But call me the moment you see Papa. Promise me." "I promise," she said. As the sun climbed high, Naomi left with Kola and his men. Obina stood at the gate, watching the cars drive away, feeling helpless. Mama Obina sat in the shade praying, and holding her own hands too tightly. The hours moved like years at noon. News vans arrived from the city. Reporters set up cameras near the mango tree. They had heard that Naomi Kane would address the public. Villagers gathered again, curious and nervous. Naomi returned with Inspector Ladi and several police officers. Crowds fell silent. Naomi stood straight, a folder in her hands. The inspector wore her uniform, serious and ready. Naomi spoke loudly. "People of Nigeria, for months I have been missing. Many thought I was dead. Now I return, not just to live, but to fight. My uncle Raymond Kane tried to take everything from me. He stole from the company. He arranged the attack that killed my fiancée. And now he has kidnapped my father-in-law, a man with no connection to business or power. This is proof." She handed the folder to Inspector Ladi, who held it up. Reporters crowded closer, taking pictures and filming. Naomi continued, "We are not going to a secret meeting. We are going to arrest him publicly with police and cameras. He will not escape in the dark. He will be judged in court." The crowd murmured. Some cheered softly. Naomi turned to the villagers. "I promise to protect this village. I will keep my promise. Stay here. Stay safe. Obina, please take care of your mother. I will bring your father back." Obina swallowed and nodded. "Bring him back to me," he said. Naomi climbed into a police car with Inspector Ladi. The convoy drove away. Obina paced the compound. His heart felt like it would explode. Mama Obina clutched a piece of cloth, whispering prayers under her breath. Hours passed again. The sun moved down in the sky. Obina kept looking at the road. Every sound made him turn. He imagined his father tied to a chair, fear in his eyes. He imagined Naomi facing Raymond in a dark warehouse. He imagined everything that could go wrong. Then as evening approached, Obina saw dust rising. Cars were coming. He ran to the gate. Mama Obina stood beside him. Hands shaking, the convoy arrived. The first car door opened, and Inspector Ladi stepped out. Her face was serious but calm. The next door opened and Papa Obina stepped out, tired but alive. He had rope marks on his wrists but no blood. His eyes searched and found his son. "Papa," Obina shouted, running forward. "Obina," Obina cried, hugging him tightly. Mama Obina joined them, sobbing and holding her husband like she would never let go. Naomi stepped out next. Dirt streaked her dress, and a small bruise was on her arm. But her eyes shone with relief. "He's safe," she said softly. Obina let go of his father and walked to Naomi. He put his hands on her shoulders, then pulled her into a hug. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you." She hugged him back. "We did it." Behind them, police officers pulled a man out of another car. It was Raymond. His hands were cuffed. His suit was dirty. His face was pale. People in the village gasped and pointed. Some shouted angrily. He kept his head high, still trying to act important, even as he was led away. Naomi faced him one last time. "You wanted my child," she said. "You wanted my life. Now you will face the law you thought you could control." "Goodbye, Uncle." Raymond smirked weakly. "This is not over," he whispered. Naomi shook her head. "It is for you." The police took him away. Cameras followed his shouted questions. Inspector Lass spoke to the press about evidence and charges. Later, as the sky turned orange, Naomi and Obina sat on the porch of his house. Papa and Mama Obina were inside resting. Chidi and other villagers had come to greet them and bring food. There was laughter now, mixed with tired tears. The fear from the night before was still there, but it no longer ruled the air. Naomi leaned back against the wall. She closed her eyes for a moment, then looked at Obina. "I must return to the city soon," she said. "There are many things to fix: the board, the company, the clinic, the school, and I want you with me when I do some of it." Obina looked at her, surprised. "Me? In the city?" "Yes, you are my husband," she said gently. "Not because of a debt now, but because we choose each other. I know you may not want to leave Umuaka forever. We can find a way to live in both worlds. We can visit the village often. We can plant in the city too. But I need you by my side when I stand in those rooms full of men who think a village boy has no voice." Obinna smiled. "I have a voice. I just did not know where to put it before." Naomi nodded. "Put it beside mine." A few months later, Umuaka looked different. A small building with a white sign that said clinic stood near the palm trees. Women with babies came in and out. A group of children sat under a roof, learning to read from a young teacher Naomi had hired. The old barn where Naomi had hidden now stored medicines and books. Chief Dyke passed by quietly now, his red cap lower than before. Naomi's company, Kane Luxury Group, grew stronger. With Raymond gone, the board respected her leadership. She started a foundation to help other villages like Umuaka. She invited Obinna to meetings, and he spoke not about business at first, but about farmers' water roads. People listened. They did not always agree, but they listened. Naomi and Obinna's marriage changed too. There were days when they argued like any couple. Obinna still did not understand all of Naomi's business, and Naomi did not always understand farming, but they learned. They learned to ask rather than assume. They learned to share pain and joy. They learned to laugh at the fact that they were forced together by a debt, and now could not imagine being apart. One evening months later, Naomi went into labor. Obinna paced the hospital hallway, just like his father had paced years ago when his mother was sick. This time he was not outside a mud house. He was outside a room filled with doctors. He wore a neat shirt, but his feet still itched to run and fetch water if needed. After long hours, a nurse came out smiling. "Congratulations," she said. "You have a baby girl." Obinna felt his knees wobble. "A girl, yes." He walked into the room. Naomi lay on the bed. Tired but glowing in her arms was a tiny baby wrapped in pink cloth. The baby's eyes were closed. Her small fingers moved as if she was touching the air. "Come," Naomi whispered. Obinna sat beside her and looked at their child. Tears filled his eyes. "She is so small," he whispered. "She is big in my heart," Naomi said softly. He touched the baby's hand with one finger. Her tiny fingers curled around his. "I was forced to marry you," Obinna whispered to Naomi, a smile breaking through his tears. "But now, choosing you is the best thing I have ever done." Naomi's eyes filled with tears. "And I came here hiding from enemies," she replied. "But somehow I found a home." They kissed their daughter's forehead together. Outside the window, the sun set over the village and the city beyond. Inside the small room, a forced marriage had become a real family, and the girl in the pink cloth yawned and began her life, surrounded by love that had grown in the most unexpected soil.